Hello and welcome to the next YouTube video on my channel. Today I will show you a very strong and fast chess trap with which you can completely destroy your opponent when he again tries to play the GIUOCO piano on the Italian game against you. So let's get started. Well, I guess if you already clicked on this video, you will know what openings like the GIUOCO piano and the Italian game are. But if not, you will find out now. The very famous Italian game starts with pawns to e4 and e5. Now white continues with knight to f3, attacking black's pawn on e5, and they defend their pawn by moving their knight on c6. And now we play the key, or also called the main move of the Italian game, and that's bishop to c4, on which our opponent answers with bishop to c4, a similar move, which is the key, or also called the main move of the GIUOCO piano. The main line of the GIUOCO piano continues now with pawn to c3, preparing the center attack with pawn to d4 after. Here our opponent answers with knight to f6, attacking our pawn here on e4, but we don't defend this pawn with a move like, for example, queen to e2, but we rather play the already announced move pawn to d4 with the center attack. Now black obviously captures our pawn here with this e-pawn, because, well, we have just attacked his bishop, and here we just capture back with our c-pawn, attacking black's bishop on c5 again. Therefore this bishop has to move away now, because there isn't a pawn anymore to capture our pawn. So this bishop moves away on b4 with a very dangerous check here, and now this position is very interesting, because we obviously do not want to move away from the check with moves like king to e2 or king to f1. Therefore, we defend the check with either knight to c3, knight to d2, or also bishop to d2, also attacking black's bishop. And actually, the most famous continuation variation of the GIUOCO piano in this position now is bishop to d2. And if our opponent thinks he's smart and plays knight to e4, just capturing our pawn, thinking he has won a pawn, then we set a little trap for him, because now we capture black's bishop on b4 with our bishop from d2, they capture back with their knight, and now we play the very strong and also very interesting move queen to b3, attacking black's knight on b4, and the very dangerous square f7, the pawn here on f7 with a double attack, with our queen and our bishop here, both at the same time. And this forces our opponent to not be able to defend both at the same time. So we will win material back again. But in the chess trap, which I would like to show you in this video, the player who plays the white chess pieces doesn't block the check with bishop to d2 or knight to d2, but rather with the third option which I've shown you, and this was knight to c3. Now our opponent, so the player who plays the black chess pieces here, uses our pinned knight here on c3 to just capture out our pawn here on e4 with his knight from f6. Now we continue with the short castling. Knight captures knight, pawn captures back the knight, bishop captures the pawn which captured the knight which captured the knight, and now black will think that they are really in a way better position, because now they are up 2 pawns attacking our rook here on a1, thinking that they force us to move away with the rook here on b1. But what we will play now will really just completely shock them, because now we sacrifice the rook. Because in this position, white plays the crazy move bishop to a3, sacrificing the rook here in the corner of the chessboard on a1. So I think that you can imagine now that taking the rook and being 7 points up of material is a big mistake for our opponent. Actually, the best moves, or the best option, would here be not to be greedy and to take out the rook and just leave it hanging. Here black should obviously move the d-pawn, either 1 square down, so on d6, blocking the diagonal of our queen's bishop here, or 2 squares down, so on d5, also attacking our bishop here on c4. And the idea of these two moves, so either pawn to d6 or pawn to d5, is to be able to block the open file which our rook wants to conquer by moving on e1 with the queen's bishop by moving it on e6. But if our opponent does the mistake and takes out our rook here in this position with the bishop, like this, then we have a very sneaky attack for him. Because now we continue with rook to e1 with check. And now our opponent has three different ways how to block this check, because the king cannot move away. This square is blocked by the rook and by the bishop, and the f8 square is only blocked by the bishop. So the first option how to block this check is knight to e5. But this move doesn't really much here after the rook has taken out the knight. It's just the same position again with check, and the black army has to block the move, has to block this check. Another option, again with the knight, but this time not on e5 but rather on e7, defended twice, is also not good, because now we just take out the knight here with our bishop, trapping and winning the queen in the following move. Or we just take out the knight on e7, not with the bishop, but rather here with the rook with check, and if here our opponent takes out our rook here with the queen, we obviously capture the queen back with the bishop, they capture our bishop with the king, and we capture their bishop here now on a1 in the corner of the chessboard with our queen. So now in this position, in terms of material, in terms of points of material, the game is equal. But if we take a look at the situation and at the position on the chessboard, we can instantly see that we are standing way better than our opponent. Our king is pretty much safe here behind this pawn wall on g1, our chess pieces are developed, and the opponent's king stands not safe somewhere here in the center of the chessboard, ready for big attacks. So the other option was in this position that our opponent escapes from the check from the rook here on f8. But here we now continue with rook captures pawn on f7 with check. If the king escapes on g8, then rook captures pawn on d7 is checkmate because of these two very strong bishop diagonals. And if in this position the king escapes not on g8 but rather on e8, then after queen to e1, the only move is queen to e7, and now queen captures queen is checkmate again. So this was then already with this trap. You could see that it doesn't matter what, after the rook sacrifice here, which our opponent accepts, so after this mistake, we just completely destroy him in the GIUOCO piano of the Italian game. So I've already said, this is already at the end of the video. If you liked it, I hope you liked it, feel free to leave a like there and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, bye, have a good day.